Hey friends, thank you so much for stopping by to listen. This is the Unfiltered Real Talk podcast where we highlight Afrocentric experience with the goal of provoking deeper thinking, shifting mindsets, and inspiring change for better living. I'm your host, EJ, and I am looking forward to sharing stories together that will inspire you. I would love to hear from you. So follow me on social media at Unreal Talk Pod, Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. You can listen wherever you get podcasts, and that includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major listening platforms. The podcast is also on YouTube, so make sure you stop by, subscribe, and check it out. I hope you enjoy the episode, and I hope you continue to do what is right and kind. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on the Unfiltered Real Talk podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the challenges of immigrating to Canada to go to school. With me today is a special friend of mine, all the way from Ontario, Ezekiel. Welcome to the show, Ezekiel. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, AJ, for inviting me.
Ezekiel immigrated to Canada a couple of years ago. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you came to Canada to go to school. Did you always know you were going to come to Canada?
Yeah, first of all, my name is Emeka Ezekiel Onyedibe. I came to Canada 2019, which I've known that I will be coming to Canada at some point since 2006/2007 after like several trials.
Oh, okay.
My dad wanted me to come to Canada ever since with my older brother. He tried the first time, the whole Nigerian government and the whole visa thing failed for my older brother. Mm-hmm. Although it did work for me, but I never wanted to come to Canada because after my research and finding out that the country is like too cold.
The country is like, it's like a freezer.
Yeah, exactly. That's one. And like at the time I thought like most part of Canada is like a French speaking country. I didn't know because like whenever you do your stuff, if you check, you see like Montreal, and like if you read like, oh, we speak a lot of French there. So I've always like, no, like I'm not going to Canada. So after like 3 trials, I decided to come to Canada because like I don't want my dad to keep wasting money and trying to get me out of the country. So yeah, I came here.
So you came here quite reluctantly. You weren't really excited about coming to Canada. You just
not really
come here. I see.
I was good in Nigeria. I was really good. At my age, I was doing a lot of things. So I came to Canada when I was like 15. But
oh wow. Yeah, that's really young. So tell me now some of the challenges that you faced when you immigrated to Canada for school.
Yeah, one of the challenges I faced, because I remember, was cold.
The cold's got to be number one.
And the funniest thing is, like, when I came, the private school I went to, this was in June, July. So it's like pretty much summer. So it shouldn't be that cold. But trust me, at the time I had like 2 heaters, in which I stole one from my roommates just to keep myself warm. So, and this was June, July. So you can imagine how cold it is, like in November, December, which is like the actual winter time here. Yeah. So that's one of the challenges I faced.
And you came to Ontario?
Okay. Yes, I came to Toronto, Ontario, which I went to high school there. Although the private school I went to, the high school private school I went to, I only stayed there for like 2-3 months. After I left the private school to the public school, there were challenges because of my accent. Mm-hmm. Like whenever I ask questions in classes, like they take forever to understand what I'm talking about. The second one was my name, whenever people pronounce my name. So like I had to switch from Chukwuemeka to a short form, which is Emeka. Mm-hmm. And then that wasn't working. Then I had to switch to Ezekiel.
Wow.
And then from Ezekiel, people started calling me Easy, So yeah, definitely that was like one of the challenges. At that age also, there's like some stories I don't like telling, but like just a sneak peek of me. I was hustling for myself. Like my parents weren't sending money for my upkeeping. So like I have to look for a job at the age of 15.
Yeah, how to get a job,
to keep me going, my house rent, my feeding fee. So at the age of 15, I was already doing all that for myself. Like,
wow. At 15 years old. And did you live with, like, when you came here at 15 years old, did you have like a family member? Did you stay with somebody you knew at least that knew you before you arrived here?
well, not off the bat, but like after a while,
Wow.
through like communications, like I found like I should say a family now because they did have on me. She became my auntie, like not auntie by blood, but she became a source of like someone I can rely on, someone I can depend on, like whenever I need anything. The government did help. That is one thing I should say for sure.
My mind is just going through so much. So I came to Canada when I was 17, but I did come with my big sister. So I feel like we had each other, to talk about how the day went, to brainstorm, to decide what we wanted to do. Like we both went to the same places to get a job and all that kind of stuff at the beginning. So I'm just thinking 15-year-old is much younger and you're all by yourself. How did you even know where to go, like where to get food, where to get clothing, everything else that you need to set yourself up? How to find a place? Like who picked you up from the airport? Who got you your apartment? Helped you cook? I don't know if you knew how to cook at 15.
No, but the thing
I have
is,
so many questions. Wow.
Let's start off the bat. So from the airport, like I said, I went to a private school. They already made that whole arrangements with that. So like I had this one Nigerian. I think his name is Collins. I can't remember his last name. Right now, he's a medical doctor. So he was one of the guys that picked me up from the airport. When they picked me up, one thing I remember he told me is just be focused. So that's what the Nigerian guy told me. With him saying that, and he always got my back. That's one thing for sure. So like within that 2 months that I was in the private school, like every single stuff I needed, we had to shop, we had to go. Within that 2 months, he showed me. He was like my older brother, like literally. He was like my older brother in the country.
That's really good to know. And I'm taking it that you probably didn't know about associations like African Association, Nigerian Association.
No.
You didn't reach out to those kind of community resources.
I never knew that even existed, even till now. I don't know if that do for Nigerians. I know that Ghanaians do have theirs.
Nigerians do too. Yeah, they do too. In I think all parts of Canada that I'm aware of, there is at least a Nigerian association in most provinces in Canada, and for sure it is in Ontario where you are.
Okay, that's good to know. But the thing is, like, I believe they should make it much more noted and know, like they have to make sure that Nigerians know that it exists. Like the fact that I don't know till now.
Absolutely. I do agree. I think there is much work for local and community resources to do in terms of targeting new immigrants. And that might be in school because many immigrants are coming to go to school. I didn't know that these kinds of things existed as well. I didn't know of Nigerian Association that I was then told about. So definitely really important for these communities to do more work in going out there and getting your faces known, getting your names known.
Yeah, definitely.
Starting as early as like junior high, I would say, because in your case, you would have been in, junior high. So starting from middle school and all the way to university for sure. So Ezekiel has talked about some of the challenges that he faced immigrating to Canada to go to school. And you said right off the bat, you were not interested in coming to Canada. So you talked about that, and then you talked about the code, the accent, when you were in school. Something that also you said that resonated with me is the name change. So you said you had to anglicize your name, basically, in order for people to pronounce your name. And I have to say that I had to do that too. I'm sure a lot of people who be listening to this podcast will relate to this. And it doesn't have to be an African immigrant. It could just be anyone else who has a different name that is not an Anglo name, right? So I want you to tell us a little bit more about how you overcame some of these challenges. What are some of the things that you did to stay focused?
Speaking of, my escape was like making friends, meeting some Nigerians. My best friend, Emmanuel Ojukwu, was met in high school. He's still my best friend. And he helped me out. Well, it's a short, long story.
Okay.
But we met in this Chinese restaurant where I was trying to order a food. But because of my accent, the lady that was the customer service couldn't understand what I was trying to say. So he had to step in, help me order my food. That made my life a little bit more easier, which I am still grateful for that. because just what happened that second made us closer, made us more than just friends. We became brothers. That did help me in life a lot. We almost went to the same university. We still kept in contact even when we're not in the same university. After I came back from Ottawa to Toronto, we still kept in contact. We lived together. We were still living together. So yeah, friends, definitely the right friends, actually, I should say.
Absolutely.
The right friends. Secondly, I do read a lot. I don't know if it helps every other person, but reading about whatever puts my mind in a very different kind of level. It makes me understand life a little bit more differently than I feel like others do. Like I feel like I grew up faster just by reading. That helped me in terms of developing my mind. Also, university, how I overcame was there's like a memory of what the guy from my private school told me. Know where you're coming from. Every single time I'm studying, every single time I'm doing whatever I'm doing, it's like I hear his voice. Remember where you're coming from.
Yeah, the advice.
But that just keeps me in check through university. It wasn't easy. Sometimes I did some jobs I can't mention to get through. I'm sure you did the same.
We had to work our jobs that we didn't really want to do. But like you said, we didn't have parents who were able to pay for our education. A lot of us, when we come here, it's international tuition. It wasn't international tuition for me because I was born in Canada. My parents had me here. However, it was still expensive for them to move us back here and have to pay for tuition. It's still expensive because it's in Canadian dollars, right? So we had to work and do all kinds of odd jobs that, below the chain and at the bottom of the ladder. So not something that anybody's proud of doing, but we do it out of necessity to pay for that tuition and to pay for our livelihood, right? So I totally feel you on that one. Did you have any challenges with professors or with fellow students? And how did you overcome some of those challenges?
This is a very, very intricate and interesting question to ask. I love talking about when it comes to university. I love talking about university and the challenges I went through. University is like you are on your own. Like however you do your thing is how you come out. If you decide to be lazy because no one is there to like tell you what to do, when to do that, you're literally in charge of whatever you do. It's very interesting, I should say. One of the challenges I think I faced and how I overcame that was like in my first year. I know for sure that I'm a very smart person. I know that. But because in high school, it's like someone is there to tell you what to do. Like, yeah, but in university is a different ballgame. So one of the challenges I faced was, I remember this one time, first year final exam. For the exams, I was averaging like a 90 plus exams and like every single classes. But my math class, because I know like I'm really good at math. So I was averaging like a 90 something. So after the exams, and I think I know for sure that I did really good in the exam, I came out and I went to check my mag and I saw a F.
An F? How does an average 90% student gets an F?
Yeah, I was shocked, but I didn't know how to go about that, right? So I didn't know I have to go complain or I have to go see someone about that. I was just naive. So I was like, you know what, maybe I didn't study enough or maybe I didn't do the right thing. So it's like, okay, it's whatever. So the second year, like I had to do like a retake and all that, like everything got sorted out. So the second year, the same thing happened. So I was like, this is not normal. Like I have to go talk to someone. So I went I think I spoke to the TA, but the TA doesn't have any they're not responsible for they're not responsible for most of the marks. The professor is. So the TA was like, you know what, we should go see the professor and see what's going on. So apparently when I went to see the professor, it turned out that my Mac was being messed up with like someone, like I think it got switched up. My paper was switched up with someone else's.
Oh.
So the person's had my mark and I had the person's mark.
That is the weirdest
thing. I found out that it was the same thing that happened to me in the first semester.
Goodness. Did you have a similar name with the person or?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Not the last name, but like the first name and the middle name was kind of similar. So that's where they made the mistake.
Okay.
How I overcame that was like, and that's what I'm trying to say. So one thing with like us, like young ones, Africans, is we tend to let things go like easily because we feel like, yeah, we're strong enough, we can come out stronger next time. I'll tell you one thing, do not let it go. Like check, make sure everything's in place. After that, like it's like everything became smooth. like every single mark, everything that goes wrong is like I know where
Thank
to
you.
go.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I have to emphasize this because as African people, we are trained, we are raised differently, like based on our culture. And one of that in our culture is we don't challenge authority. We don't challenge people who are older than us. And so when we come over here and we're struggling with something or we see something that just seemed off, our first reaction is not to go to say to the professor, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, this is not me. That's not our first reaction because that's not how we were raised, right? We were not raised to speak up. And so this is a great advice that you're giving us right now is make sure that you ask questions. If you come here to go to school, if you feel something is wrong, if you feel something is off, don't just say, like Ezekiel just said, everything will sort itself out because it will not. So you have to ask those questions, those difficult questions that may sometimes be heated or controversial, but nevertheless needed. You have to have that conversation to clear things up. Because, for example, if you didn't ask that question in your case now, your mark would have kept going to somebody else who shared the same name as yours. And you wouldn't have known until maybe much later in the academic year. And that could have, obviously had huge impact.
Speaking of which, it did have impact.
Oh,
I was on the academic probation for just that semester.
Wow. So, even though it was a mistake that the school made.
Yes, I was on the academic probation.
Wow.
And I wasn't allowed to come back, I think, like maybe a semester after or like 2 semesters after.
Yeah, you would think that when they found out that it was a computer glitch or human error, whatever you want to call it.
The thing is, they found out in the second year. I was in academic probation in the first year, which was really bad.
That's the huge impact that I was just trying to talk about that did in fact happen to you.
Yes. So always challenge everything you think that you're unsure of. It's not like Nigeria that someone's going to flog you or whatnot. Like there's someone there to actually help you figure out what was wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah. In Nigeria, you dare not challenge a professor or lecturer, as we call it. You dare not challenge them or go to them and say, why did you do this or why did you do that? And, those people who went to school in Nigeria will relate to this. But over here, that's not the case. Being shy is not going to save you. Being quiet and relying solely on your intelligence will not save you. Like Ezekiel just explained, he was an above average student. He was a 90+ student in every single course he took, but he still ended up on probation for an F he didn't deserve, obviously, based on what you just shared, because he had a similar name with someone else who was getting your grade and you were getting that person's grade. So really important advice here. So what I would like us to do next before we come to a close is just based on this experience and maybe any other experience that you can think of, share some strategies that you feel new immigrants or students who are coming here to go to school should utilize. What are like maybe your top 3 things that you feel will help them to maintain academic success and to maintain focus in their academic career path?
Number 1 for sure is always go to the advisor. And no matter how lazy or how shy you are, trust me, they help a lot. I can't explain what they are lifesavers. So that's one remedy to like challenges that we do face here. That's for sure. Always go to them if you need anything. They're there to help. That's why they're there. Second, for me, always confine in someone. As they say, like a problem shared is a problem half solved.
That's right.
So always have that person you can confide in that can give you like the right advice, be it whoever, like just have that one person. And the last one is, which I've been always talking about, always be focused. Where you're coming from, especially us Africans, Nigerians. Well, I know most of us are.
I think, I was going to say, I think this one is a no-brainer for our people.
So always, actually, not really, but always know where you're coming from. Don't lose focus for any reason, no matter what the challenge is. Do not lose focus. Like, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I'll tell you that for sure. Like, I've been through like 3 programs, and so far, I didn't regret any stuff. Make sure wherever you start, make sure you finish it, no matter what it is. Even if you're not going to use little, trust me, it's going to come helpful at it. Especially on this part of the world, it's going to come in clutch. So wherever you start, be it whatever, it doesn't matter. Make sure you finish it.
That's a great one. Thank you so much, Ezekiel, for being here. Just been a pleasure talking to you. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Hey guys, thank you for sticking around to the end of the podcast. I truly appreciate you listening to the very end. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give the podcast a thumbs up by rating in Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the podcast. You can also subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and send me your feedback over there too. Don't forget to share the podcast with your friends, family, and everyone else. I'll see you in the next episode.